Allison Kaiser, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you why some international students here at WVU are being asked not to leave the United States.
WVU is shutting down Arnold Hall at the end of the spring semester. I'm CJ Harvey, and straight ahead on WVU News, I'll tell you why officials made that decision and what's next.
I'm Casey Gentile, and coming up, in light of a recent death on the rail trail, I'll give you some safety tips to keep in mind. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
After a death on the Morgantown Rail Trail, residents are asking how to protect themselves while walking alone at night. I'm CJ Harvey.
And I'm Brianna Parks. No hate, no fear. Words that were chanted by nearly 300 students and faculty members at a vigil held in Woodburn Circle recently.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University. It's been only 30 days since President Donald Trump took office, and he's already signed 18 executive orders and memos.
And while some have been met with opposition, the ban dealing with immigration has caused many to take a stand. Reporter Allison Kaiser joins us now with more. Allison?
Thanks, Brianna and CJ. In response to the executive order on immigration, WVU President Gordon Gee sent out a letter to all faculty and students, informing them that they should not go home while this ban is in place. And here at West Virginia University, 5 panel members held an open forum to answer questions and explain to students what options are available to them in light of this recent travel ban. On January 31st, West Virginia University hosted a discussion panel in response to an executive order signed by President Trump that bans travel to the United States for 7 countries: Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Syria.
This ban is a 90-day ban, temporary ban, that will block people from those countries who are not, let's say, green card holders here or citizens of the United States from entering the U.S.
Refugees are being denied entry to the U.S. for the next 4 months, while Syrian refugees are suspended indefinitely. This bothers many WVU students, especially those who came here searching for the American dream.
This is why my parents migrated to the United States. It's to live the American dream. And I will do everything I can, everything in my power, to make sure that one person, one individual and his team do not take that away from all the people who have worked hard to make it here.
Approximately 129 students here at WVU are from the banned countries. Now, those students are being instructed not to leave the United States.
They have so many questions. They do not know whether they'll be able and when they'll be able to return to their own countries, particularly thinking that if they do return to their own countries, will they be able to get back to the United States?
The Office of Global Affairs encourages any students with questions about the ban to visit their office. Their website is located at the bottom of your screen. For students who could face complications traveling home over university breaks, WVU officials will be offering housing options. Brianna and CJ, back to you.
Thank you, Allison, for that report. Following the informational session, a visual was held in Woodburn Circle to show support for international students, faculty, and refugees.
The executive order halts the flow of all refugees in America for 4 months and bans others from traveling from 7 predominantly Muslim countries for at least 90 days.
Alexa Chettarelli joins us now from Social Square to tell us how social media has been flooded with tales of stranded families after Trump's immigration ban. Alexa?
Following President Trump's immigration ban, people have been posting tales of stranded students, visitors unable to return home, and canceled visits with family. Here at WVU, nearly 300 students and faculty gathered in Woodburn Circle with a peaceful protest.
Less than 100 days since President Trump was elected, and he's already stirring things up on social media.
How do you get all of your information in the morning? You go onto Twitter, you go onto Facebook. That is the first thing that people see on social media.
Like Isabella Cortez, more than 62% of Americans get their news from social media.
If you can voice your opinions, if you can completely just push down all the racism, all the sexism, all the Islamophobia, and all of the xenophobia publicly on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, I think that that's an excellent way. It's a start.
Social media has been overtaken by hashtags such as Muslim ban and no ban, no wall. But social media isn't the only way people are responding.
On January 30th, students and faculty gathered in Woodburn Circle to peacefully protest the executive order that President Trump signed.
In light of President Trump recently signing an executive order banning immigrants from 7 countries, more than 300 students attended a vigil supporting refugees, international students, and the community.
It's ridiculous that we are turning away people when this country was founded on the principles that we have to help and we have to give freedom and grant liberty to people, that we have to stand by people with solidarity.
To see more on how people are reacting to President Trump's immigration ban, check out the hashtags on the screen.
WVU's vigil wrapped up as participants shouted, "Let them in, let them in, let them in." If students have any more questions, they can contact the Dean of Students, Corey Ferris. His number is at the bottom of your screen. If you would like to see the 360 video shot for this story, you can find it on our website. Brianna, back to you.
The community continues to mourn the loss of a WVU student. Police say the body of Arthur Bagenda of Bethesda, Maryland, was found Saturday morning several weeks ago along the rail trail known as Walnut Street Bridge. Casey Gentile joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center to tell us more. Casey?
Thanks, Brianna. Police are investigating the death of Arthur Bagenda. WVU released a statement on Bagenda's death saying, quote, "The university community is deeply saddened by the tragic death of Arthur Williams Bagenda. We send our thoughts and prayers to Arthur's family." On January 28th, WVU student Arthur Bagenda's body was found on the rail trail. Bagenda was 19 years old and studying psychology at WVU. Authorities believe there was no foul play associated with his death. However, with an incident like this, some are questioning if it's a good idea to use the trails alone.
I've come down here once by myself, but I made sure I had protection on me, like pepper spray or something like that.
Star City Police Chief Vic Probst has some tips on how to stay safe while using the trails in Morgantown.
I would recommend if you do go out after dark to travel in pairs, to always have a cell phone handy for emergencies. And if you see it, call it in. If you see anything at all that looks out of place or out of the ordinary, call it in.
The Star City Police Department is already working on an initiative to make these trails safer. They tell me they're looking to acquire a four-wheeler to patrol the trails in the morning, evening, and at night. Chief Probst also told me that officers do patrol the trails on every shift. He goes on to say that events like this are few and far between.
With our limited manpower, it limits what we can do, but we do have officers that are physically fit, and they do try to get on the trail as much as possible.
We called the police department to see if a cause of death has yet been found. They're still waiting on the autopsy report. The university has also reached out to Arthur's roommates. Free counseling is available through the Caruth Center at 304-293-4431. Anyone with information on the death is asked to contact the Morgantown Police Department. The number can be found at the bottom of your screen. CJ, back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Casey, for that report. West Virginia University's third oldest dorm will close for good at the end of this school year. The decision was approved by the Board of Governors on January 27th. WVU is closing the doors to Arnold Hall. The downtown housing option has been around for over 60 years, and officials would keep both the dorm and apartments open, but get this, it would cost more than $20 million in maintenance fees to keep them running. So, starting in the fall, WVU officials are choosing to open up the South Tower of U Place to incoming freshmen and rename it Seneca Hall.
And so that's a lot of money. And so do you spend the money there and try to renovate it, or what we decided to do, let's go over to University Place, Seneca, what we've called now Seneca Hall, and create a residence hall out of that.
Now come August, these doors will be locked and Seneca Hall will be open, but it'll cost you. They say the $4,000 price tag a semester is well worth it if you want things like your own bedroom, your own bathroom, and a kitchen. But one student told me he's concerned with the lack of affordable living options in the downtown area.
It's unfair for some students to not have the option to choose to live here for a more lower cost.
Of the 9 housing options, only Borman, Dadisman, and Towers average under $3,000 a semester, yet Ferris defends the school's decision, saying WVU wouldn't even be closing Arnold unless they weren't already satisfied with the overall number of affordable housing options. Ferris goes on to say that Seneca Hall will house 450 incoming freshmen in the fall. Officials also say that no one currently working at Arnold Hall will lose their jobs.
That's right, CJ. They will be offered other opportunities on campus. You can join the nostalgia now on Twitter by using the hashtag #GoodbyeArnold.
And while we remember Arnold Hall fondly, incoming freshmen like newly recruited athletes will have other options when it comes to housing.
And sports reporter Hannah Guest tells us which new recruits fans can look forward to seeing next season.
I'm Hannah Getz, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you about the 2017 signing class that'll call this stadium their home this upcoming season.
Ready to go?
Sometimes the most important lessons are learned outside the classroom.
Are we going the right way?
When you chase the unknown, take a risk, and push beyond your boundaries. That's when you discover who you really are. Every journey starts with a first. Let's go.
After a 10-3 season for football, the West Virginia Mountaineers prepare to say goodbye to their graduating seniors.
Sports reporter Hannah Getz joins us now with more on the outcome of how the National Signing Day went for the Mountaineers. Hannah?
Thanks, CJ and Brianna. National Signing Day started in 1964 with only 7 conferences, but has grown to include over 650 participating institutions. Wednesday, February 1st was National Signing Day, and thousands of high school and college athletes signed a letter of intent that could potentially change the rest of their lives. I caught up with some coaches and got their opinions on WVU's 2017 recruiting class.
National Signing Day has come and gone, and WVU walked away with over 20 signees in their 2017 recruiting class. Head coach Dana Holgerson talked about moving forward and seeing what these athletes can do.
I'm excited about these guys. They're good fits. We filled our needs. We got a lot of good fits. You know, I like getting them here and working with them.
Out of all the 2017 signees, there's one face that you might find familiar, and Coach Holgerson says that this player is becoming very close with quarterback Will Greer. David Sills took a quick break from the Gold and Blue to be in the starting quarterback slot at El Camino Community College this past season, but Country Roads took him home as he re-signed with the Mountaineers to play at the wide receiver position.
And he's been great since he's been back. I mean, he's just a solid kid and hard worker, and is becoming Will Greer's best friend. Smart kid.
WVU also recruited 2 new running backs, and Coach Sider contributes that to current and past players' success.
Got a good brand to sell, and kids are attracted about that. 2 years ago, you had Wendell, who led the Big 12 in rushing. So, I mean, Crawford rushed for 300-some yards in one game. So you can sell kids, hey, you're going to come here, you're going to run the ball.
To see the other signees in the 2017 recruiting class, you can click on the link below.
A few of these recruits will be without the position coach that recruited them. Running back coach Jawan Sider has recently accepted a position with the University of Florida. But WVU has signed a total of 21 players so far, hailing from 12 different states. Make sure to keep up with WVU and the rest of the 2017 signees as they continue to build their team into August. Brianna and CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. We hope that all of the recruits will feel welcome in the Mountaineer family. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also catch our shows on YouTube and follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Brianna Parks.
And I'm CJ Harvey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.